So I remember being a kid and having recess during school, and I loved it because it was time away from the classroom. You know, you get to go outside, go on the swing, hang out with your friends. It was just something to look forward to every day. And around 5th grade, kids started feeling a little weird about playing on the playground. So they would go outside and just talk to their friends. And then by 6th or 7th grade, we just stopped going outside altogether. And it reminds me a lot of how we get older, we become adults. And then for one reason or another, we feel like we have to stop playing. It's like playtime's over, now it's time to grow up. I think back to when I was about 13 years old, just starting on guitar, and just inviting my friends over one summer vacation. We had about 6 people all together in my basement, and most of us played guitar. We had 4 guitarists, 1 singer, and 1 drummer. And we just got together and we started just rocking out, and it was embarrassingly bad. I have a cassette tape of the recording of some of it. We were all playing different riffs. It was just chaos. But what I remember was we were all having fun. I kind of sat in the corner and looked around, and I'm like, cool, this is kind of like our own crazy headbangers club, because we were all kind of outcasts. We were the freaks of the school. And here we were in my basement rocking out to metal riffs. So I'd look around and people were laughing, even though we were terrible, having fun, making fun of each other. It was just this great feeling of camaraderie. And if you ever saw the movie Stand By Me, that group that they had in that, it is probably the closest I'll ever come to that feeling. And just like that one post that's very emotional for a lot of people that shows a bunch of kids playing together, and it says something like, one day all of your friends got together and played for the last time and didn't know it. That kind of thing happened with this group. Like, we had fun, but people went on their separate paths. Like Al and I, he was one of the guys in the jam, we stayed together, we formed the band Sanctus, and went from there. But a lot of the other guys kind of fizzled out when it came to guitar. What was really surprising is the one guy we thought would be a big rock star, because he looked like Robert Plant, basically. He had the long hair and the look and all that stuff. One day he showed up to school and he was wearing like a dress shirt and he had his hair cut. And someone said he was trying to become a banker or something like that. And that's kind of when I knew it was the end of the innocence. It was a very pivotal moment for me. And it's really sad to say, but that trend kept continuing throughout my guitar career. So, you know, I would get older and then more and more people would drop out of the music scene. Someone who was really serious about guitar, maybe they went off and got married, they got a real job, they had a mortgage all of a sudden, they were gonna have kids, and real life took over for them. So I remember asking one of my friends who was actually a really great guitar player, I'm like, have you been jamming lately? And he's like, nah, I just kind of put my guitar in the closet. You know, ever since I moved, I haven't taken it out yet. Almost like he was talking about his baseball bat and glove from Little League or something. And even former bandmates that I used to jam with started to neglect the guitar, and they even started forgetting how to play the very songs that used to really drive them back in the day. And that was a very sobering and lonely feeling for me, because it was like you're seeing your friends slip away, almost like I felt like the old guy that kept going to the rock club, but less and less of my friends were showing up to hang out with. It was that kind of feeling for a while. And it was a really strange thought to think that they were giving up on something that was basically saving me at the time. Then I started teaching guitar, and I had a ton of great students, and I kept a lot of them for a long time. But what would inevitably happen is they would have to move on, because either they're going to move or they're going to college or something. And if they're going off to college, I'd be excited, because I'm like, are you going to take your guitar with you? Are you going to keep up on it? And a lot of them said that they weren't. They weren't going to bring it with because they had to focus on college. So that bummed me out quite a bit. And I remember thinking, because some of them actually got really good at guitar, I was thinking, what was all this for then? But being a teacher showed me another side as well. Like, I would get adult students that would start with me, and they would admit to me, they're like, you know what? I gave up on guitar a long time ago. I was like 15 and I just quit for some reason. And I went on and I did all the stuff I thought I was supposed to do. I got a house, I got married, I had kids and all that good stuff. But I always felt like there was a void. There was something missing. Like I need something to be creative with. I need something to express myself with. And I had that with guitar, but I gave it up years ago. So I'm here to try again. And that gave me a lot of hope. And since I've been teaching for a lot of decades now, I got to see the full circle even with my own students. So the ones that quit and went off to college or whatever, they would usually get a hold of me and say, you know what, I want to start back up on lessons now. I dip my toe in the real world. And I know I have to do that, but I don't really like what I'm seeing, and I want to come back to what made me feel good. And I would even have former students get a hold of me, and they would say, you know what, Mike, I don't play guitar anymore. I haven't touched it since I quit lessons, but I want to let you know that taking guitar lessons during that time in my life was a huge deal for me. It got me through a lot of tough times, and I still have a lot of great memories of it. So that kind of answered the question for me that I posed earlier, what is it all for? When I heard back from my students, it all made sense. Now, I'm not pointing fingers or judging people on quitting guitar at all. I mean, I totally understand. I've quit many things in my life. Like I used to breakdance a lot when I was like 11. And I remember when I was breakdancing once in my garage, a realization just hit me. I'm like, why am I doing this? I mean, I liked it at first. I got way into it. And then I thought, there's no future in this for me. So that kind of clinched it for me. I just kind of quit after that. I turned in my cardboard box that I used to breakdance on, and I was done. I also used to be way into wanting to be a ninja, when I was even younger. And I used to put on ninja outfits, and I would sneak around the neighborhood at night. And thank God I grew out of that. I'd probably be in jail right now if I didn't. So I totally understand if you outgrow something or you're just not passionate about it like other people are. It's tough when you see all these people praising guitar, but you just don't really feel it inside. Like you want to feel it, but you just don't. I totally am not judging those people. I can't relate to that when it comes to guitar, but I understand when it comes to other things. And the great thing about guitar is that it's always there for you in whatever capacity you decide to use it for. So, I mean, even though it will give back whatever you put into it, even if it's just there for you, maybe when you're bored or lonely or whatever, you could pick it up, and that's something that's priceless in somebody's life. And unlike a lot of school sports, how a lot of people had their glory days in high school where they were like the football star or they played hockey or whatever, but that's something that's hard to do when you get older. Sometimes your body can't keep up with what you used to do in high school. But with guitar, it's kind of cool because you could still, even if you're a lot older, as long as you don't have crippling arthritis or something, you could still hammer out your favorite songs on the guitar and feel those same feelings that you used to have. So let me break it down into percentages of what I've noticed over my lifetime. I would say out of all my friends I grew up with and all my students, 5% of them went on to continue with guitar at a very high level, whether it's playing in bands, being a studio musician, just doing it as a living somehow. Then we have the 20% who I would say were serious hobbyists. So those are people that play every day. They're not professionals, but they still like to play every day, every other day, and they take it very seriously and they still love the instrument. Then I would say about 35% would be the people that are not so serious hobbyists. So maybe they play once a week. They put the guitar in the corner of their room, and when they're bored, they just pick it up and strum it once in a while. And then the people that totally gave up on guitar would make up 40%. I hate to say that, but it's true. So I think that's a pretty reasonable ratio for almost anything in life. If you think about great athletes or whatever, only a very small percentage are really going to take it all the way. So yes, sadly, I had to watch a lot of people have fun with guitar and then eventually give it up when they thought they had to grow up. But like I said earlier, sometimes people come back to it. Sometimes there's that happy ending. And maybe they're never going to be a huge rock star like they thought they were going to be back when they were younger, but they could still get a lot of satisfaction and a lot of comfort in playing this instrument. And this will become more and more important to you as you get older, you'll see. And it's really strange. You'll start to ask yourself, what are the things in my life that make me feel alive? We live in a world where it's really easy to just check out, stare at a screen all day or whatever. But sometimes when you put this piece of wood with strings on it back in your hands and you crank up your amp and you rock out, you realize you kind of forgot what it was like to be alive and feel that spirit. So hopefully guitar can do that for you. All right, everyone, like always, feel free to leave your story in the comments, whether you give up on guitar, picked it back up, or whether you never left it, and you know what I'm talking about when I say it's something that's always there for you, or if you decided to quit guitar completely and you're just watching YouTube guitar videos. Let me know in the comments. That'd be great to hear. All right, guys, we'll catch you at the next lesson. See you later. Bye.